we are trying to find out which equation matches the graph below here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the graph. All right. So I think it's better just to build the equation, not to match it. That'll be more informative. So as we look at it, we can see that it's a quadratic equation. Quadratic meaning x squared is the biggest exponent or the degree on x. So it's going to be something like y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. In this format, though, it's going to be easier to build it in the sense of using the zero product property, where it's going to be y equals sum a, x minus, I'll call it x1, times x minus some x2, where x1 and x2 are the zeros of this function, meaning it brings it to zero. In fact, let me just go ahead and make this a plus sign. It'll make more sense that way. All right, so basically what we're looking for is where would make this a zero. Zero meaning that your y is equal to zero. A y equal to zero, one of my tricks is whenever you have a y equals zero, that's telling you what the other letters are. So if we're trying to find the x-intercepts, that's where y is equal to zero. An intercept of one letter means the other letter is zero. So all of this means x-intercepts, which is the zeros of the function are the x-intercepts. So when we're looking at the x-axis, we see we have an x-intercept here, and we see we have an x-intercept here. That's at -9, and that is at -4. And remember, that's x equals those. Those are the zeros of this. So that means that if I have a different number here, so if I just do the opposite of that, if I have the opposites of those numbers, plugging them into here, it's going to zero out the function. So let's go ahead and see what all this means. So far, right now, I have y equals some constant in front that kind of makes it more narrow or more wide or flips it upside down. That's what the a does. X, and then we're doing the opposite of whatever these numbers are. The opposite of -4 is +4. The opposite of -9 is +9. So, and it's always good to kind of check your work so it makes more sense that way. If I plugged in -4 in for x here, I don't worry about this one because this one takes over. -4 plus 4 makes this 0. Everything is multiply, and then we have y equals 0, which is what we need. Same idea for -9. When I plug in -9 to both of the x's, I don't worry about this one because this one takes over. -9 plus 9 makes 0, and it zeroes out the whole function. So I have that part. Now the last part that we need is finding the a value, the letter in front, the constant. So we have to have at least one other point that we can find. Now, usually, if they're nice, they give us a y-intercept that we can use. But they did not give us a y-intercept, so I have to see exactly where it crosses the grid at. And as I look at this, there's several. I see this one right here. This one, to me, looks like a good candidate. So I'm assuming that this crosses the grid exactly here. So the value, an input gives a corresponding output. So an input of -5 gives the corresponding output of 2. So that's the point -5, 2 right there. Okay, so we have to have at least one other point that we can identify. So I'm assuming that's the point that we can identify. It looks like it's crossing the grid. So what that means is I can use this x and I can use this y to plug into this function, and then all I have left is a, and I can find it. Let's go ahead and try that. So the y I have is 2. I'm using this function here, equals A is what we're looking for. X is now -5. Plus 4. X is -5 plus 9. Okay, let's go ahead and simplify. So I have 2 equals A -1 times 4. And 2 equals -1 times 4 is -4A. Doesn't matter the order. Divide by -4, divide by -4, and I get -1/2 equals A. I put all of this together, and that gives me my y function is equal to -1/2 x plus 4 x plus 9. Okay, and this makes sense. This is a parabola. Usually y equals x squared would look something like this. Notice the parabola faces up or opens up. In this case, it opens down. And that's one of the things, if you remember at the beginning, I said that A does. A will flip it if it's negative. All right, so everything looks in order here. We got a -1/2, x plus 4, x plus 9. -1/2, I need x plus 4. -1/2, x plus 4, x plus 9. So it'd be that one right there. All right, but the key is knowing how we built it and being able to do it yourselves.